recorded.
Hello friends, welcome to the first session of Kubernetes, and this is Sri Harsha, and let's kick it off. So we know that why you are here. We're going to discuss about the this is the first today and tomorrow the first two sessions which we're going to discuss about the Kubernetes. So what is the agenda for today, folks? Let's put the agenda. Okay. So first thing is we need to understand is first we need to go through the syllabus to understand. Sorry, syllabus. We're going to understand what exactly the syllabus, how I laid out the syllabus, and syllabus will be always improvising. So I don't stick to one particular syllabus. I always try to improvise as much as possible. And second thing is we're going to understand the lab actually. So we need to understand lab infrastructure because that's very, very important. Kubernetes is all about practice, guys. It's all about practice. There is nothing to study. So you don't need to study, you need to learn basically. There is a lot of difference between studying and learning. Studying, just studying a book, but you need to practice. That is what the learning is. So lab infra is very important. Okay. So infrastructure, how you do that, most people use the AWS basically. And we're going to discuss about like basics, or I can say like what is Kubernetes. What is Kubernetes? And fourth, we're going to talk about Kubernetes architecture. And fifth, I'm not going to deploy the lab today. I'm going to deploy the lab tomorrow, but I'm going to discuss about the lab. And the fifth one will be the Q&A. Q&A basically. We're going to discuss this one. And the class is expected to be like 2 hours. That will be like now it is 7:30 in India IST, and expected it will go up to most probably 9:30. And if there anything left over, we're going to cover from in tomorrow's class. And as you know that the first two sessions, today's session and tomorrow's session, is you can attend. You can understand if you're able to follow my teaching, and if you want to continue, and if there are any concerns you can actually raise it. If it is possible to address that, I can do that. Otherwise we'll I'll try to give you the options how we can do that one. Okay, right. So first thing is actually I want to put as timings actually, first to make you the timings available. See, first thing is this is not a weekend class. Okay, this is a weekday class as well. So but not entire week. It will be like, first of all, it will be Saturday, Sunday, which will be like today and tomorrow, every Saturday and Sunday. That will be 7:30 to 9:30, first thing. Okay, and on Tuesday and Thursday, it will be 1 hour, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. by the way, 8:30 p.m. IST. So only 1 hour on the weekdays. So the reason I chose is you should not lose the momentum actually when you start learning, right? Weekends will always make people go little laid back attitude actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to just cover like 1 hour basically in that weekday, so that you are being actually taking that momentum. Okay. I know some people will have shifts and everything. Try to get it to 1 hour basically. Okay, this is a career-based change, so try to get 1 hour in that 7:30 80. Or what we can do is you can actually refer to the video anyway. I have my old students also. Some of the old students in this class, so I can see them. I can see the names. Of course, you can't see the names because I disabled the chat. I will enable the chat from the third class, so don't worry. So right now I disabled the chat because to avoid people copying the emails basically to do unnecessary things. That's why. But we're going to enable the chart later, so don't worry. So now the first thing is let's understand the syllabus, and once I explain the syllabus, what we'll do is we'll say Q&A at syllabus level. Okay, syllabus level at Q&A, because Kubernetes is so vast. There are a lot of new things are coming inside. Okay, and everyone has a different requirement basically, like I want this, sir, I want this, sir. So it's not possible for me to address everything. It's quite tough to address everything. That is why I'm going to explain you, this is the syllabus we're going to talk, and then I'm going to answer your questions and then we go to the lab infrastructure. Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, let me close few things. Yeah, I just completed the Azure DevOps class. So you see, this is Azure DevOps. So just anyway. Okay, let me do one thing. If you see the syllabus is there, the syllabus is there in the video which you found out this one, right? You found the you found the, let me copy from there itself, from the video, right? So let me do something like this. I'm going to open. So if you want to find out, or if somebody missed out, so I'm going to one thing. So like okay, this is my channel, and I see latest uploads. You can see like the real-time Kubernetes and Python. So just click on it. When you click on it, if you come down, if you go to the show here, if you come down, you should see the syllabus here, by the way. Okay, let's click on it. And this is the syllabus, guys. I said DevOps phase 2 because I have a different DevOps class in the phase 1, which will cover the shell scripting, PowerShell, Terraform, Packer, Ansible, all these things. That's the phase 1, by the way. Okay, this is a phase 2. Now, if you see the syllabus, I have divided into multiple modules. And let me tell you, Python has nothing to do with the Kubernetes. Let me put something. In future, I'm going to remove this, by the way, once, because right now I have some bandwidth. That's why I actually included the Python. But if number of topics of the Python get increased, sorry, for the Kubernetes will get increased, it will be hard for me to complete in 2.5 months. Then there might be a reason I'm going to reduce the topics of the Python. But to avoid the confusion, guys, go on mute. Okay, let me make mute because I'm getting a background noise. Let me make everyone mute. Hold on. Okay. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to put all our concentration on Kubernetes only. The reason I involved Python is so if I get some time, I just give you an overview about how Python works and everything. It has nothing to do with the Kubernetes. Let me be very clear. It has nothing to do with the Kubernetes. I just added as a goodwill, or just like I want to share the knowledge with my students. That why that's why I added the Python programming. Apart from that, it has nothing to do with the Azure, actually, sorry, Kubernetes as well. Okay, let's see the syllabus, by the way. So introduction to the Docker and Kubernetes. Basically today it will be like introduction session to make sure that what are the things you require, and what is the lab environment, your question answers. But tomorrow what we're going to discuss is I'm going to give a little bit overview about the Docker. Basically, what is a Docker, how to deal with the YAMLs, actually understand the Docker components, because I know most of you guys knows the Docker. Treat that is a brush up, actually. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Kubernetes architecture today, so no need to worry about this one. And we're going to talk about the Kubernetes components, as well as I'm going to deploy, if possible, I'm going to deploy a production grade Kubernetes cluster using Kubernetes operations on AWS. We're also going to install using KubeADM, but most of the practice we're going to use kops, because it is going to deploy multiple masters, multiple nodes as a production level, how we're going to deploy everything. So after that, we're going to deploy the Kubernetes with kops. We're going to see what are the different options you have available in kops, increasing number of nodes, decreasing all these things. And after that, we're going to talk about the Kubernetes pods and deployments. And after that, I'm not going to in detail, guys. You have the syllabus, you can look into that one. And then we're going to talk about Kubernetes services, very important. These two are very, very important, how it works. And after that, we're going to talk about advanced scheduling, like understand how exactly you can attach the pods to a certain nodes, as well as how exactly you can use the tains, node selectors, pod affinity, node affinity, and everything. After that, we're going to talk about Kubernetes storage, actually using persistent volumes and claims. And also going to provide like EFS, AWS EFS, how we're going to mount it, and config maps and secrets to provide like configuration details and how you manage the sensitive data with secrets, and how you're going to use the user authentication and authorization on Kubernetes cluster, basically how to avoid and how you perform the updates, and a little bit about troubleshooting for Kubernetes. I'm going to share my experiences, and logging and cluster management. And now this section was increased when compared to the last class, actually. So because I was recently doing a lot of projects on Azure Kubernetes services. So I'm going to tell you how actually we can deploy Kubernetes on Azure using Azure Kubernetes service, which is actually called as managed Kubernetes service. What are the advantages, disadvantages, how you can deploy all these things. Okay. And apart from that, we're going to have, I'm not really working very too much on EKS, but I'm going to tell you how you can deploy a cluster and all these things in the EKS. And finally, we also have additional Kubernetes applications such as integration. This should be updated. Actually, I'm planning to include Azure DevOps as well, and Jenkins integration, help package manager. When you are dealing with the help packages, we're going to talk about like plugins like Crew as well as K9s. A lot of things are there. We're going to discuss about that one. And finally, we are going to discuss about Kubernetes certified administrator, how you can able to, on CCAD also. Mostly both exams are both same, but we're going to discuss about, hold on, please hold on. So okay, so we're going to we're going to discuss about the certification. What are things you need to go to the certificate, what are the questions it might be expected, how you deal with this one, what are the pain points. Actually, we do that one. After that, then we're going to go to the Python, but I'm not going to really concentrate more on Python. It is more like an introduction just to make you to understand. My sole concentration literally is on the whole Kubernetes, how to make you, if somebody like offer you a job in Kubernetes, you should be able to manage with confidence. So that is what I'm actually aiming for. Okay, any questions, guys? Only on syllabus level. Please ask on the syllabus perspective. You can unmute. You are on mute, folks. You can actually unmute yourself, and then you can ask if there is any question from the syllabus perspective. From the career perspective, I'm going to give you time after like 9:30. I'm going to give you time. We can discuss on that one. So are we good with, everyone is on mute by the way, are we good with the syllabus by the way? Yes, 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 ask the question if you have doubt, right? Yes, Anil Kumar.
Yeah, we are using Azure, and here I'm able to see in the past. So it will useful for the Azure itself, right?
I didn't understand. Sorry, come again.
So COPS will give support only AWS. It will support the Azure only.
No, COP support only AWS by the way.
So
right now.
Okay. But we are using Azure, but how we can.
It doesn't matter if you use Azure GK and everything, because if you use Azure, you are using AKS, right? Or using individual servers to build your, because I'm going to use Kube admin also to install the cluster. If you want to put on that one, you can use Kube admin to install the cluster. So the reason is I need to choose one to explain you, right? I need to choose either AWS or Google or something to explain the syllabus. I can't take every cloud, so it's not possible for me because it's a duplication of the work, right? So that's why I'm actually taken AWS because it is. I can also take Azure also, but most probably the COPS works very good when deploying the production grade. So now when it comes to your question, right? We are going to talk about the Azure Kubernetes services. You said Azure, right? Where exactly it is deployed? Is it AKS or?
Yes, AKS.
So AKS, so obviously it doesn't matter. Why? Because if you know about completely, if you continue and learn everything Kubernetes, right? So it will be same thing will be applicable for AKS. And anyway, at the last, we're going to talk almost like 4 to 5 sessions about the Kubernetes on Azure. So there is no special thing Azure is doing here basically, or a matter of fact, Google or AWS. So first thing we need to understand is how the plain Kubernetes works. I'm using AWS to deploy the infrastructure because I require one master, two clients basically. So if you can also do that manually on Azure also. There is nothing. So, but if you ask me, we discuss about Azure Kubernetes services. Yes, we're going to do at the last. Okay. Yes, questions at syllabus level. Friends, any questions? Yes, Sandeep.
Okay, so just curious, are the many companies here in the real time are going with this COPS concept? Is that what the current approach is?
Now, what do you think COPS is? See, COPS is a shortcut for me to deploy the infrastructure so fastly. And I know a lot of companies who are deploying on the AWS will use the COPS. And slowly what is happening is many people are actually moving towards the managed Kubernetes like EKS or AKS or GKE. And I don't have any problem to directly explain the AKS. Okay, I can directly explain that this is the AKS and how it looks. But problem is AKS or GKE or EKS, right, which is a managed Kubernetes, right? So what will happen is you will understand very well once you understand Kubernetes normally. If you know how to manage a normal Kubernetes, then you understand that Kubernetes, the managed Kubernetes, very well. That is basically how it works. See, COPS is only a tool. You are thinking something else actually. No, COPS is easy, is a tool which will make us to, for me to deploy the cluster so fast actually. It's a cluster. I know like the big companies are still using, who are using AWS using. Now the other way, without using COPS is I need to use ADM and everything install, which is not that good actually. So treat that as a COPS as to get your lab system up and running, as well as it will be used by the people who are with the AWS. Now, if you, I also show you how to install using the kubeadm. That is also you can use if you want. Okay, just to keep think that as a tool.
Okay, like kubeadm is what usually the organizations or the companies uses in real time.
That depends upon what exactly they are trying to do actually. So if you use kubeadmin, there are lot of manual work which need to be done. So obviously that is the reason many people are many companies are trying to go for the managed Kubernetes. So kubeadmin is the one which they will heavily use if they are deploying on their on premises. In the on premises they have the data centers and everything, right, where they'll have their own virtual VMware environment, and over the environment they want to build the Kubernetes cluster. So then they're going to use the kubeadmin a lot. But if you take like at the cloud level, they are already giving managed Kubernetes, or you can use kubeadmin, as well as if you use AWS, you can use the COPS basically.
Okay, thanks.
And you do know that your name is showing as Priyanka Priya, by the way.
Okay, that's my wife name.
Yeah. Just letting you know. Okay, any questions on syllabus? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, if
Yes.
we completed this course, we can do it for certification also for EKS admin.
Certification is a cake job, a simple job basically. We are going beyond the certification. Okay, so certification is something like they're not even going to let me put a let me put something like this. In certification, they're not even going to touch anything related to this, any of the troubleshooting, nothing. Certification is very easy. So only thing is you need to do a lot of practice, then it will be very easy for you to do that one. And especially you know how to search the documentation, you can clear it. That's what my students said that. Okay. Right, so let's move forward.
The Kubernetes with Java, is it possible? Only the Python or?
First of all, I think, do you join late? Because I said that Python don't have any relation with the Kubernetes. I'm just explaining as a to share my knowledge. So it's nothing, there is no relation between Kubernetes and Python. Sorry, Kubernetes and Python here. Both are different. And the second thing is I don't know Java, by the way. I know only Python.
Okay.
Yeah.
In AWS, we can use the EKS. No, it is the same thing like that. We can.
See, EKS, see, one thing you need to understand, you can take EKS or AKS or I can say GKE. Okay, go on mute, guys. To explain this one, I just need 1 week, by the way. I don't need to put 2.5 months. The reason these guys are giving everything for ready, and if you go for interview learning only this, you can't clear the interview, because you're really not going to understand what is the control plane, because the control plane is managed by these guys. You don't know what is the API server, how it works, how the kube scheduler, how control manager. So they're trying to make our life easy, but still if you want to troubleshoot and everything, you should know the whole thing. This is managed Kubernetes. Okay, there is a this is something like this is something like directly buying a phone, whereas right now what we are trying to do is you also know what are the components on the phone and how can you repair it and how can you build a phone actually. That is what we are trying to do. It is just like straight buying a phone. Okay, nobody required this one, because when you go for interview, nobody is going to ask what is AKS, GKS, EKS. They're going to start from the scratch to understand your Kubernetes environment. Okay, so this won't really don't work for you. We're going to talk about AKs, but this won't work for interview, and this won't take more than 1 week to clear. I mean to complete. Okay, right.
How about the real-time scenario it will cover in Kubernetes? How to deploy the real-time?
I'm a solution architect with 15 years of experience and dealing with past 3 years with Kubernetes. So that experience, you will know everything in real time, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yes,
Asher, Sandeep here.
yes, Sandeep.
Uh, do we cover, do we have any monitoring tools in the syllabus?
No, not right as of now. Prometheus is not there because the syllabus is already large, so I'm yet to include, but it is not included in this one.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's understand the lab infrastructure. Okay, this is very important, very important, by the way. Now you can build in your lab in AWS or Azure or GCP or in your laptop as well, if possible. It is possible, but if you want to build in your laptop, you should have a decent amount, like some 16 GB of RAM will do, and SSDs do, because you need to do a lot of configuration, install the virtual box. After that, all these things you need to do that one. I don't recommend this, by the way, because what will happen is if you try to use the laptop using of ingress as well as secrets as well as lot of integrations will miss out. So what you can do is, my recommendation is, you can use either AWS, Azure or GCP. In that one, since I'm going to run all my lab, by the way, so I need to take one, I need to 10, because anyway I don't work on GCP more, so I work on these two a lot. So I need to make a choice on AWS and Azure, and I'm going to explain a lot about, I'm going to have my whole lab on AWS basically, using the EC2 machines. So to deploy the lab, I'm going to use something called as a COPS, but it is like standalone. It's not EKS or AKS. No, these are standalone machines which are forming a Kubernetes cluster, by the way. So I'm going to use the AWS. You can also use the EKS also if you want to do Azure, or you can use the kubeadmin and deploy it in your Azure also if you are familiar. But if you want to follow me, it's AWS is good, and it takes very less time for you to get your infrastructure. You need to practice. Okay. Now, obviously, you need to have an AWS account. I just list out what are the things you require in order to follow me, by the way. You need to have a AWS account for sure. You need to have a domain name, by the way. You need to have a domain name, something like you can buy, like for example, k it is morning. I bought a domain actually morning. I say like training k8s.xyz. You try to buy with xyz because it will cost you 132 rupees, by the way. So it will have 1 year validity if you're able to buy training anything ending with k8s. For example, what you do is you can actually go to GoDaddy, by the way. You can basically go to the GoDaddy. I'm going to show you how it looks, but you can search for it. I'm going to say like, for example, use your name actually. For example, if your name is Rahul, for example, I say like Rahul K8s.xyz, for example. You can, if you want to buy a .com also, you can buy it. No one is stopping you, but .com will be costly. And if you see, it has been 99. But since the screen you are seeing is coming from a US server, it is costing you 99 cents actually. But if you do in India, it will cost you, including taxes and everything, 132 rupees, by the way, one domain, and it will be valid for 1 year. And you can use the same domain for AWS practice, Azure, EKS, AKS, anywhere. For 1 year you can use it. After that, you can remove that and add one more S and take XYZ domains. There is no problem. So you require a domain name. You require basically a domain, any domain name basically. Okay. And you also require AWS account, and this one, I think you need the softwares called COPS and kubectl. I think we are talking about infrastructure, right? Then these two are fine. If you have an AWS account and as well as a domain name, these two are suffice to have a very good production grade cluster. I'm not talking about like a small kubeadm install and a small laptop cluster, guys. No, you're really not going to learn much when you are having a small cluster. You have a production grade cluster. Every time I'm going to teach you the class, right, I'm going to use like a single master with couple of nodes with the production grade actually. So you can learn a lot in that one. So you require AWS account and domain name. You can actually register that, and AWS give you like a 1 year free, right? Like T2 micro instances. You can use that and build your lab and consume less. See, what I'm trying to figure it out is to reduce your cost basically. Okay, you don't want to get like thousands of rupees bill, right? So because AWS will give you, Azure is there, but Azure will give you trial only for 1 month. That is one of the reason I don't select Azure. Azure will give you only trial for 1 month, and AKS is not free trial, by the way. AKS you need to pay the money. That is why and also you have a GCP, but unfortunately I don't work on much on GCP. That's why I chosen a AWS account, because it gives one it will give you like 1 year of a free trial. Okay, 1 year of a free trial, and then what you can do, you can use the T2 micros to build your whole lab actually. So try to follow me, it's okay. It's not, I'm not going to use a lot of services on AWS. I just use mostly EC2 service and Route 53 and load balancer. That's it, not more, and a domain name. Okay, good. Now let's go to Kubernetes, guys. What exactly? You might already read, the people who joined this class might be read something Kubernetes and everything. Then, but maybe you want to dig deep into that, understand what exactly is Kubernetes going to. So first, we need to understand what is the purpose. So before going to the architecture and explaining about all the high technical things, what exactly Kubernetes is trying to solve, first of all, we need to understand that one. Okay, so what Kubernetes is trying is, Kubernetes just it's a orchestration, it's a container orchestration. I can say like application or tool simply. See, Kubernetes is not running any containers. Let me be very precise with you. Kubernetes is not running any containers. Kubernetes is what it is doing, it is trying to control the who is running the containers, how they are running the containers, if there is any downtime, how we need to address it, how we need to heal if there is any problem, how we can actually make sure that the applications won't go for a toss, and how to avoid the downtime. So, and how we can save the sensitive information, how you need to deal with the storage, like kind of things. So simply I can say Kubernetes is basically, you can say like as a team manager basically, or manager. So if you take a team manager in your IT companies, right, they are basically what they are doing, they are not actually doing the work, right? They're doing the work, it's a different work, management work. So if there is any ticket like rebooting a server or creating a new server, it is not the manager who is going to right click and do that, right? It is the job will go to the individual contributor who that. Similarly, Kubernetes is like a team manager who has a very good knowledge, by the way, very good knowledge on all the infrastructure, all the container infrastructure, and it will make sure that the whole infrastructure is maintained efficiently basically. That is what a Kubernetes is. Okay, so to draw a